In this video I'll be showing you how to create the pattern for this rounded sleeve. The first thing you'll need is the pattern that you're using. Here I'm going to use blocks. That's the back, that's the front. It's hard to see at this size, so I'll just use the half scale one so that you can see that it's a front and a back of a bodice. So first I'm going to measure with my tape measure all around the front armhole. You can see it's the front because it's got one notch on the sleeve. And then once I've got that measurement, I can measure the back armhole, and that's indicated by the two notches. And there's no seam allowance on these, I'm measuring the actual seam line. So I've got 22.5 and 23, which is 45.5. So to find the radius of my circle, I do 45.5 divided by bracket 2 times pi, put the other bracket in, and I get 7.24. So I'm just going to use 7.2, so that's in centimetres. So by making a circle with a 7.2 centimetre radius, I'll get the perfect size circle that will fit onto the armhole of the garment that I'm making. Now I'm just measuring the outer side part of the circle. That's going to be 12 centimetres, but because the inside of the sleeve will be up against the body, I'm starting 2.5 centimetres from the bottom of the other circle. To make my sleeve, I'd cut out 10 of this shape, so that's the larger circle with the circle inside cut out. And then I'd want a smaller opening for where the hand came out. So draw a smaller circle for that, and then that would be the final circle that I put on that I'd only stitch around the larger edge. The other way of doing this is to just draw 2 circles of any measurement you like. So I'm drawing one large circle and then adding seam allowance around that. And then a smaller circle on the inside. And then I'm just measuring a centimetre for the inside there. And then I'm going to use this as my pattern and cut that out of fabric. So I've drawn around the circle, just around the outside lines. I don't need to draw the seam lines because I'm going to stitch this on the sewing machine. If you were stitching it by hand, you might want to mark in where a centimetre is, so it would be neater when you finished. And then to cut out the centre, just snip in the middle and cut that all around there. So to sew this together, you use exactly the same method as you would use for the rounded ball. So if you haven't seen that one, I'll link that down below. But you just stitch the outside, inside, outside, inside. Until you've got an accordion shape of all of them on top of each other. Okay, so that's all been stitched up. And then you get that shape. This is just cotton. You could make it stiffer if you put some interfacing in there or used a thicker fabric. And you can see all the stitchings on the inside, but you could have some stitching on the outside if you wanted to.